Welcome. Today we are diving deep into the brutal, frozen world of Jack London's incredible story, To Build a Fire. And we're going to do more than just walk through the plot. We're going to look at the very words London uses to make us feel that cold, to see that fire, and to really understand the raw struggle for survival.
75 degrees below zero. Just let that number sink in for a moment. This isn't just chilly. This is a cold so deep, so profound, that your spit would freeze before it even hits the ground. In this story, you've got to understand the temperature isn't just the setting, it is the main enemy.
So, our main character, a guy known only as the Man, he thinks he's got it all figured out. He has a plan to cross this frozen landscape. But well, the wilderness doesn't really care about our plans, does it? The real question here is, how does an author make you feel that life or death pressure? It all comes down to the words. Let's get into it.
Okay, so here we go. The story kicks off, and we find the man trekking through the Yukon. The only living thing with him is his dog. The whole world is just this huge, silent, white landscape. But at this point, he's not worried at all. He thinks he's totally in control.
He starts out super confident. He's observant, picking up on every little detail of the trail. He's figured everything out, calculating his travel time, remembering facts about frostbite. He knows the danger is undoubtedly real. But check out that word, indescribable. The cold is so extreme, it's beyond anything he's ever experienced, and he can't quite get his head around the true threat. He's relying completely on his brain, not his gut.
But here's the thing. The man isn't really alone. His companion, that husky, it's on a whole other level. It doesn't use logic or math, it uses its senses.
The dog sensed the danger. It didn't need a thermometer. It had this powerful, deep-down instinct screaming that this was no weather for traveling. It's kind of like when you just know something's up. You might say, I sensed my friend was hiding some good news. This is the core conflict of the whole story. The dog's instinct versus the man's intellect. Remember that.
So, all that confidence the man had, it's about to take a massive hit, and all because of one simple, clumsy mistake. One wrong step, and everything changes.
And it happens just like that. He breaks through the ice, and his feet are instantly soaked. Out here, that's a potential death sentence. And what does he do? He hesitated, just for a second, but that hesitation is absolutely critical. He then proceeded with his plan to build a fire, but that tiny delay has already cost him big time. In this kind of environment, every single second matters. Under the pressure of these awful circumstances, he makes a huge mistake. He builds the foundation, the base of his fire, directly beneath a big spruce tree that's just loaded with snow. In his rush, he completely ignored the massive warning sign hanging right over his head.
And this is where the story gets truly terrifying. The man's biggest enemy is no longer the snow or the ice. It's his own body, which is starting to turn on him.
Okay, so he has to bare his hands, exposing them to that freezing air so he can work with the matches. Almost immediately, his fingers go numb. He can't feel a thing. He tries to grasp a match just to hold it, but his fingers just won't cooperate. And then, the entire bundle of matches is scattered all over the snow, totally useless. It's a complete and total disaster.
And this number, 70, it just drives home the rapidity of his failures. 70 matches. That's 70 chances at life, and they're all gone in an instant. With just stunning speed, all of his hope is just snuffed out.
He looks down at his own hands and feels this terrifying disconnect. There's an absence of feeling, an absence of control. It's like they're not even his anymore. The cold hasn't just numbed his fingers, it's like it's stolen a part of him.
And when the body gives up, the mind isn't usually far behind. This physical failure is about to trigger a complete mental collapse.
His logical, calculating mind just starts to fall apart, and it's replaced by this storm of emotions. He starts off anxious and uneasy. Then that worry turns into this deep, painful longing for the safety of his camp. And finally, all those other feelings get swallowed up by pure, crushing despair, the absolute certainty that he's doomed.
Wow, this line is just so powerful. He willed his fingers to move, trying to force them to work with the power of his mind, but they had ceased to function. They completely stopped listening to his brain's commands. That connection was just gone.
And this is his absolute lowest point. He quietly murmured, he whispered, this horrifying idea, killing his companion, the only other living thing out there with him, just for a few moments of warmth. Desperation has pushed him right to the very edge of his own humanity.
And that brings us to the story's powerful conclusion, which really boils down to the fundamental difference between the man and the dog.
So let's break this down, because this is the final lesson. The man figured he could outthink the cold, but he couldn't endure what it was really like. The dog, on the other hand, it sensed the real danger from the very beginning. It simply obeyed its instincts. It didn't try to fight nature. It listened to it. It mastered its fear, and in the end, it survived.
Once he finally accepts that the fight is over, something surprising happens. A change comes over him. He stops struggling and meets his end with this quiet dignity. He accepts his small place in this vast, powerful, and totally indifferent wilderness.
And this is the question that Jack London leaves us with. The man knew a lot of facts, but he couldn't endure the reality of the situation. The dog knew nothing but pure instinct, and it survived. So what really matters more? What's in your head or what you can endure?